Okay, welcome back to day 333. It's fine. You know what isn't fine? Oh god, man. Okay, I almost died because I didn't turn down the sound, but the video wasn't playing, and I was gonna be like, that's not chill, until I realized it was God making sure my ears don't melt from the inside out. So yeah. Ding. Anyways. Why is there so many noises? Why? Anyways. So, what's going on? Since I'm writing a little... I don't know if it's ever going to be a book, just all of my ideas down for this, like, I guess original characters, if you're going to say it like that, but they're not fully fledged. Anyways, these are just ideas. So what happened is that I'm writing whatever story comes to mind or scene comes to mind. And I'm not a writer, so it probably is cringe. But I'm just going to write it down because I just have this idea. So I wrote it all down. And because I'm doing that, it reminded me that apparently my sibling from I think it was Goodwill online, there are these little keyboards that isn't easy to edit through because it's got it's like one of those calculators that are like flat and then flat, and then on the top they have the little screen that's like this, just the tiny little screen that's a little higher, like a little face. It's like that, but a keyboard. It has a tiny little screen, and pretty much it's just so you can write down or type down. I think it wasn't even like, it was before computers. It's not a computer. I think it was called like people call it a transportable typewriter kind of thing, or transportable keyboard. So where it just obviously is a computer, but it can hold, I think it had quite a few stories, but I don't know, how long each of them might have, like, limit. Mainly the problem with it is it's not good at editing. You can't write your whole thing on it, but pretty much you save it to it. You can have, I think it's some sort of way to plug it into your actual computer and save it from there, and then you can edit it. So a lot of writers would use these as on an airplane or where laptops weren't available to be brought around. Are we gonna walk down, or are we just gonna be making noises upstairs? I mean, come on. Okay, so but yeah, so pretty much it's just for on the go when pre-laptops that can be unplugged from the wall, all of it. And so anyway, so what happened was trying to think I'm trying to think. Okay, so anyway, so you would have it in your bag, or you would carry it, and you can just whip it out and just type your ideas. Like what I was saying is that I type it in my phone. It's just not spelling correctly, not thinking about correct punctuation necessarily, or correct things, just do it. So anyway, so I was doing that. So since I was doing that, it reminded me of this machine that my sibling would got, and she got one from a local place. She fell in love with it. now that my whole family decided to come down here and talk to me. They weren't talking to me, they were just getting stuff, but I'm like, why now? I've been here for so long. Anyways, point was that the keyboard that they used, my sibling fell in love with one at a modern. I'm slouching a lot. Okay, whatever. Who cares? You know what? I don't want to pause again, so we're going to stay. So anyway, so what happened is she bought one, fell in love with it, and just loves them. And she goes, I love the look of them. They're like this green. She loves, like, they're very much era appropriate style and colors and everything. And you're like, era appropriate? Well, you know how, like, appliances have, like, a certain period of time. Like, you can just tell something is from this year, like, a certain year. So, like, if you look at the original Nintendo, then the Nintendo 64, or the TVs there, and TVs are always kind of black, but you can look at an old, like, console. A very, very, very modern one is the PS5. It's like white consoles and appliances are very in right now. A few years ago they were like red. A few years, but you know what I'm saying? You got it. So it's very electronical, like in the 90s ish, maybe. What did it go into the 2000s? Yeah, 2000s was the clear plastic ones. So like there's clear plastic, I think Nintendo stuff. I think we had a clear plastic remote control. There was the clear plastic laptops. There was the clear plastic, all that. So anyways, it's very era appropriate. But my sibling bought I think a 2-pack for really, really, no, they're like, here, half of them, pretty much, through Goodwill and thrift stores. It was really inexpensive. So what happened is she got them, and she's like, well, I wanted to hang them up, but I wanted to make sure, see if they would actually work, because Goodwill sometimes doesn't test electronics. So I don't know if they were tested. Both of them worked, I'm pretty sure, at least one of them, but I think both of them worked. One was wiped, there was nothing there, but the other one had stuff there, and we're like, oh. So my sibling, of course, what did she do? She opened it to see if it was what it was. If it was like half a page of notes, a grocery list, whatever it is, who cares? Just delete it. But she didn't want to delete it if it was important. So she opened it, and they were actual stories, like actual real life stories. Well, not real life. It was actual somebody's writing, fiction writing. And apparently, thank goodness, somehow, they actually wrote who it was, who it belonged to. So one of the stories on there had a name, or somehow got a name on it, so we could find out who it was. And they actually, my sibling, so she actually looked this person up, and it was an actual noted author. And she was like, hey, like emailed or something like, hey, I have your old thingamajiggy. It has something on it. I think multiple, but at least one thing on it. Do you want me to send it to you? Or do you want me to just delete them? Whatever you want. We just don't want to delete it, and it might be important to you. And apparently, the person replied, and the person replied with, those are in fact not my stories. Those are in fact my son's stories. And I would love them. Thank you. So my sibling, of course, downloaded these stories, which I think can be pretty long. Again, can save quite a few. It had quite a bit of data. And sent it over because she wanted to send it to her, obviously, an adult son. So she was, whatever, already had a son that was writing. And now the son, this was, God, whenever he used it, and she wanted to give it to her son. And I think this was really cute because, again, she's this author and her son is writing. I almost want to say it had to do with werewolves. I want to say it had to do with werewolves, but I can't be positive because I didn't read the story. My sibling just read enough to try to figure out if it had any indicators who they were. And the son said that he wanted it, so that's why she said yes. But just, I don't know why, it just was so funny to me. Just like, that, yeah. It was so funny. It was so funny because I don't think it was a very modern story either. I think maybe she wasn't using the thingy anymore, but it wasn't to the point where we must have had a different option for him to write. So it was quite a while ago, and just that's very humorous. It was very cute. Very cute. Reminded me of a story where there was a lady at my church back when I was a baby, like a very, very, very young. I would cry for anyone besides a few people. One of them was around 18-year-old boy who apparently I love, and I almost want to say I can remember things pretty well when I was pretty young. A few stories. The stories that I kept bringing back up. Holding grudges helps when you are very, very, very angry and you want to remember it because you are holding a grudge. And your dad promised you'd go back and do the blue, but you didn't. So, anyways, holding grudges help you if you want to remember being 2, maybe 2.5, but being very young, and being a very young child. But anyways, the point was I remember being kind of young. So I kind of remember a conversation between my mom. I could hear it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember seeing it, but I can, like, hear it. So I don't know if it's true or not, obviously. This one I don't know. There's no confirmation. It wasn't rememberingable enough. But what happened was, he would be the only one that could hold me, and she would just let him, and just be like, yeah, he's great, okay. And so what happened was I'm talking to this guy's mother when I was around 16, 17, and I guess there must have been a local scare of a kid who wasn't doing great mentally, and either did, or you can tell they were kind of spooked of kids and mental health, or teens and mental health. So their way, instead of saying, hey, maybe get some help and we can help you get help, instead they went, hey, don't be suicidal, because if you die, it will make your parents sad, which was bullshit, because if your parents are the ones hurting you and making you in a bad mental health state, then so anyways, the point was they brought the mother of this kid, and I don't remember him, I don't remember him, but I just got really emotional because I remember having this connection to his family from when I was so young. But he died a few years after, or when I was a child, because he had some health problems and had a seizure in the middle of the night and died. And she of course got emotional, and I got emotional, but I felt so bad. And I she's like, I'll never get to walk him down the aisle. I'll never let it be able to have these things that, like, his wedding or these moments in his life, because he died, and you don't want your parents to not have that. And the point was, I got emotional. Invited her to my wedding. That she then died a few years after this, with with health problems. Her I think she had memory issues and stuff, and she would kind of mess me up with my siblings. A lot of people did. I didn't think anything of it, but it could have been her health, whatever. And anyways, they were just a sweet couple. Never bashing me for being who I am. Unlike a lot of other people are like, are you sure you want piercings? Are you sure? Blah, blah, blah. But anyways, so what happened is finding old relics. Apparently somebody was cleaning up their crawl space or their attic or something. And they found an old jersey that belonged to the son. And she's like, I would love that. Thank you. And it just like these old relics of things, like a old baseball uniform for the church, or an old writing from your son. It's very interesting. These, I think, very mundane things. You know what I'm saying? Like those very mundane things are something that's like, can be so personal. You know what I'm saying? And it's really interesting to think about this very mundane kind of small things. But with a couple, it reminded me when I was slightly older. I think that was when I was 16, 17, when I was around maybe 19. I went back to church for, I don't know, 18. Yeah, it must have been at oldest 18. I went to church a few times because I knew I was leaving for college and wanted to hang out with my friends. But I would go to church, and I was talking to them, but separately I was talking to the lady, and she's like, you know what I would do? I would sell all of our stuff. I would sell our house, all of our items, get our dogs, and fly to Italy. Live there for the rest of our lives. We're getting old, and I would just want to do that. And I was talking to the husband by himself, and he goes, you know what I would do? Sell everything. Sell our house. Grab our dogs. Move to Italy. And I'm like, obviously they couldn't do that. She had health problems. But just the idea that they both had this idea of just, fuck it, let's just go. And I was like, don't even sell it. I'll take care of your house. Just go. You know what I'm saying? But just they were so sweet. But it was great because he was saying who I was, but she got me confused with my older sibling. And then she slapped him on the arm, and I just hear her go, "That's not that one, it's the other one. Why didn't you correct me?" And he's like, "You need to turn up your hearing aids. I did tell you." And it was such a cute little thing. It was so adorable. They were like the sweetest. They were, again, a lot of people they felt very nice through and through. Unlike a lot of people at my church where they would be very nice to me. White family gave a lot of money over the years to that church. Even if, just donating a little bit every week, that's a pretty penny. My mom would work there, and stuff, being a counter, being at this, being that. So, we put a lot of effort into this church. Always volunteering, we volunteered, blah, blah, blah. So, obviously, they want to be on our good side. But we were good Christian women. Yay. But then one of the only, 2 black families were like, "Hey, I'm leaving, you guys. This church is so super racist, like a lot of churches, but we're out." And I'm like, fair, because I was already gone at this point, so I'm like, fair. And they would be nice to me about having artificial colored hair, but they would be like, That color isn't found in nature, is it? That's like, okay. So it would be a little bit of a, not passive aggressive, but like, I guess passive aggressive, where like complimentary, but it's like, ha ha ha, I'm lying, you suck, or whatever. So they would be very much like that, where they would be, my laptop just went black. Yeah, you're not dead, are you? Anyway, I'm leaving. Goodbye.